Like many other donor agencies that are struck by the importance of the number of conflicts and crisis situations, AFD has decided to set up a small unit in charge of accompanying our colleagues who lead operations in crisis countries situations or post-conflict situations, or situations that menace to roll over into crisis, in order to adapt our instruments, our strategies, our procedures to the specificities of these situations. In conflict and post-conflict zones, as in the rest of the world, AFD's mandate is to finance development operations, i.e. operations in health, education, infrastructures, or the private sector, for example. But we do it in a way that's adapted to the specificities of the context and the risks of violence. And so it's another way, another outlook that we bring to our operations. AFD's strategy in post-conflict situations, as well as fragile states in general, has four pillars. The first pillar is the do no harm principle. What this means is we have a specific analysis of the conflict dynamics, and we avoid the fact that our projects exacerbate risks of violence, because any external intervention can have a negative effect in the dynamics of conflict. The second principle is that of dual operations. These are development operations that bring a development good, such as health or education, but also that try to tackle one of the root causes of violence, such as youth unemployment or tensions in the use of natural resources, for example. The third pillar is linking relief, rehabilitation, and development in order to avoid the development of a gray zone between humanitarian action and development. That's why we try to intervene with our development finance as early on as possible in the crisis. Last pillar is partnership. We try to maximize synergies between international partners and within the French government in order to have the most coherence possible in tackling these specifically difficult situations. AFD's mandate is really to finance development operations, but what we try to do is maximize synergies with humanitarian actors so that they can remain on their main added value, which is saving lives and delivering quick impact on the ground. During that phase, our objective is to work with public authorities to increase their capacity to pick up after the crisis and to lead public policies that are badly needed. We also make sure that the projects that we finance can remain active for a longer time, even when humanitarian actors leave the ground. Our objective is to act fast and stay long in partnership with the humanitarian actors. What we do with respect to the Syrian crisis is that we work in the immediate periphery of Syria, in Jordan and Lebanon, and AFD finances projects to help reduce tensions between refugees and host populations, because we have to imagine there are millions of Syrian refugees flowing into Lebanon and Jordan. This puts a lot of strain on public services locally, and the Jordanian and Lebanese populations that are welcoming these refugees at some point face this stress. Our finances help local authorities to provide these public services for both communities, refugees and host communities, in order to avoid tensions, and that's a specific example of conflict prevention through development.